Hi and welcome. My name is Martyn of EvaSys and welcome to our blog, What I Didn't Know about S4HANA. We're joined today by a very special guest, Tatyana Atahuna. Welcome, Tatyana.
Thank you.
Tatyana has over 20 years experience of implementing SAP and was until recently involved in the rollout of a major multi-country implementation for a well-known telco business. This blog came out of a presentation I did about a week and a half ago called Look Before You SAP. And that was all about an insight that we found around our clients and around people like McKinsey talking about, firstly, the acceleration of businesses through the current times we find ourselves, but also some experiences of our customers of what they've done and where they've decided to go. So with Tatyana's background, coming directly from a project, I thought we would cover a number of areas to give you some insight on what we're thinking. Probably the best place to start is sort of put all of these into context. So Tatyana, I suppose, the first question is, what are the most significant changes that you saw between ECC and S4?
Yeah, hi Martin, thank you for having me. I think we can put the difference in kind of 4 buckets, right? First is they are different products, so it's different SKUs. So that's one thing that you have to consider. Second one is new technology. So it's new database, new application. So it's completely new, different technology.
Yeah.
It's a new application itself. So all the code has been rewritten, and again, to adapt to the new technology. And last but not least, it's a new presentation layer. So SAP GUI we are used to see before, it has changed to Fiori. And again, it is something completely new that you have to start getting to know.
And what were the implications on that on the project? Were there things that came out that you did expect, that you didn't expect?
I think the main thing is a reimplementation, right? So it's not just a lift and shift. Even if many people believe the brownfield approach is a lift and shift, is not. You really need to think this project is a reimplementation. And many people will have heard of greenfield, bluefield, and brownfield, because it depends. You start completely on only data or just, and it depends of the approach you take. You will consider, you will find different unknowns, as we call them, right? Is if we touch on the previous of the previous topic, if we touch about the implementation, right? The fact that the application itself changed, it depends on how much technical depth you have in your company. This can be quite a big obstacle or not. All the customizations you have built in the past in your on-premise environment, all the different reports, why you have done certain things in the way you did it. Let's be honest, many times we just do it and we just don't have maybe a proper documentation around. So all of that, this is a good moment to take it, pause there and check, why am I doing this project? Yeah, because it depends of the purpose. You are going to have an answer of how to do it and what to do.
Yeah. And I suppose in these current times where, what we're seeing right across the board is, things are accelerating, projects are slowing as well, that are not having a reasonably quick return on investment. I suppose you've really got to look at the purpose and the objective of why the business is going to do this sort of change, and what they really need to do and in what timescale. Because from what I saw and what I explained in that presentation last week around the McKinsey study, that was saying that organizations, even banks, are doing things 32 times faster than they were last year.
Yeah,
that's an amazing change.
no, absolutely.
And it must have impact on these projects.
And yeah, this and in everything, right? Because if we have learned something during the last months, is that any decision you take, you have to be able either to retract that decision quicker, yeah, and try something different, or definitely go faster and make things happen. Because a decision you took maybe 2-3 months ago, maybe it's not valid anymore now. And we are thinking of, do you want years of projects, or do you want something that it can be really incremental and quick change? And again, it goes back to the purpose, right? Why are you looking to change? So some companies have been affected in different ways. So some companies are growing and expanding, but other companies are trying to cope with all the challenges and problems that they may have. And then why this transformation of your core ERP? What is that going to bring to the picture? And you have to go back to the why. So every company is going to be unique in that answer, in that purpose, and going to lead you to what to do and how to do it. Because it's a combination of both, right? It's not a one size fits all. It's not the same answer for everybody.
No, it's fascinating what you say about speed. You know, you're talking about things like, if you're going to fail quick, which is really what you were saying. So, you know, be able to roll it back and do something different. But actually, I suppose what you're also saying is that, you know, because of the speed of change that we're seeing now, you don't know what's around the corner, and you need to be able to cope with that. You can't put in processes and procedures that are going to stick for the next 10 to 15 years, for instance. Now, you need it to be versatile, so that today it's white, tomorrow it's green. And that's, you're going to have to cope with that in a market which is, I suppose, quite volatile.
No, and it's not only to implement now something is going to last this month. It's to implement something now, and it's going to be live in a year. You know, you don't have that time
or less
to wait for something to be implemented. And yeah, it's that. I guess it's a big commitment. And we were making the analogy the last time, right? So not because you have a girlfriend, you have to get married. and it is that. Is some people see it like a natural path. But is you really need to think, is that why am I doing it? Yeah.
So if you were to put you know, your top 10, for instance, of the challenges that you found that you didn't expect to find,
top 10,
what would they be?
Reporting, big one, because the data model changed, right? So you really need to take the time, go and see how have you built your reporting before, bespoke, all the bespoke that you have in there, right? Because that change in the data model, what are the implications? And again, every company implements systems in different way, and that's one of the things of on-premise, right? All your bespoke.
Surely, Tatyana, you could take your reports over, you know, from your old system to your new system. Would they not work straight away, or is it that
depends.
Fundamental a change?
It depends. If you were staying vanilla, which nobody does, because everybody go and build their own bespoke things. If you stay vanilla, yeah, it will work. But nobody really stay with all the sweet vanilla reports that you have there. Everybody go and bespoke the reports and look at, you know, then those changes have, and again, going back to the technical, have you documented why those changes were done? If you did, good. And even if you didn't, it is the time to review it. Yeah. The same happened with integration. So it's which one is your ecosystem? How are you communicating with other systems around? The fact that it's new products, of course, procurement, all those considerations, you really need to look with your procurement team. People, talent, that's big.
People, yeah, I knew that one would come up.
that one is big, definitely. Presentation layer, it looks different. Again, so you have to, it depends on your ecosystem, again, your ecosystem. So if you have built things on top of your SAP GUI, then those have to be redone, because you are not going to be looking at that interface anymore. Every customization, if you have built robots, if you have some RPAs, any kind of, they have to be big, again, because the data model changed, right? So the impact can be as big or as little of how much you have bespoke your system in the past. And we know in an on-premise, that's one of the benefits that people had before, right? Having an on-prem system, you were free to go and do all the changes
well, that's how
that you wanted to do.
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So
So yeah,
you mentioned data conversion as well, I think was one of the things when we were talking previously.
it depends of the approach you follow. So if you go greenfield, you won't have that problem because you are not converting, you are kind of like migrating, like going to a clean environment. But when you go and do brownfield, yes, there is a conversion. So then the reconciliation of those, they have to be considered because again, you are just, how do you call the animal that go and eat the wood inside? A termite?
Yeah.
That's basically what you have to put in your system. You have to take that and make it go and do all the changes according to the new data model that you want.
So
So
you're saying in greenfield you wouldn't have any data to convert. You'd what? How would you do year
it's,
to year
because
comparison?
the thing is that in greenfield, definitely it's a complete re-implementation, right? So you take your old system, you are not lift and shift, you are passing from here to there.
Yeah.
Okay, and again, you can decide to go only with your open items, only with your balances, and then you are starting from scratch, which
Okay.
of course it can take more time.
Yeah.
It depends, but on a brown field, which is lift and shift, it's not that lift and shift really, because the data model underlying is different.
Okay. And then I think the last one we touched on when we were talking was integration partners. Yeah. And I suppose, we do need to touch on those at some stage, don't we? Because it's
Yeah,
often used, SAP is often used as a sort of a transformational basis, which has got implications on project timescale, implementation, execution, that sort of thing.
yeah, no, it's again, you need a partner. You just not a system integrator. You need a proper partner that can take you and help you with that journey. It's not just, yeah, it's not just to implement a system, it's more than that. As everything, and again, it has to be aligned to your purpose. Your partner has to understand your purpose and be able to work on that with you.
So we're just coming to the end of our blog now, but it's important that we give customers something to take away. What would your advice to somebody considering a move such as this to either S/4HANA or Oracle Cloud or wherever? What would your advice be?
Be clear on your purpose. Yeah, be clear what do you want to achieve with the transformation, and define which one are your non-negotiables. Which one are those objectives as a business you want to achieve? Because this has to be a business transformation, right? It's not just an upgrade. It is if the aligned to that purpose, then define how you are going to measure your success, and definitely take time to put your business case and consider all those elements we have been talking here, right? So and I guess is integration, technical depth, people. There are many soft points. Put them on the table before. You don't want surprises. You don't want to be in the middle and then say, oops, we never thought about this. Oops, we never thought about that. Oops, we never. And then that means more money. That means more time. That means maybe resources you don't have. That means decisions in the middle. So I think you really need to take the time to plan. Take the time to plan properly and look which one are the options.
And review, I suppose.
Yeah.
Look at
No,
what are
absolutely.
the realistic options. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
in summary, you have very nearly given me a top 10, would you believe? So you started with it's a new product. You've got to think about its implications. You talked about reporting. You talked about technical debt. So identifying it, specifying it, see what can actually go with the move. You talked about data conversion. You talked, and I know it's a really big subject, talent.
Yeah.
You talked about integration because there are always going to be other systems you've got to plug and play. We talked a little bit about the presentation layer, Fiori. Talked about the database model and the underlying new HANA database underneath it. You were quite specific on your view about things like robots, chatbots, and RPA. If you've got them currently, what you're going to have to do when you move and then move back. And then you talked about integration. So, oh yeah, and integration partners, systems integration partners. So I think we need to leave those as a top 10 list for our for our viewers, but we will definitely be talking about these in greater detail in our forthcoming vlogs.
Good.
So on behalf of everybody, I just wanted to thank you for your time. Really appreciated, and your thoughts and advice. If any of these subjects have actually touched you and you are interested in reaching out, please do contact me. My name is Martyn Hope. I'm a VP at EvoSys Global, and you can get me on martyn.hope, that's martyn.hope at evosysglobal.com. And thank you very much for your time, and we hope to see you again on another one of our vlogs in the very near future. Thank you.
Thank you.